Hello students, welcome to all of you Shiksha 360 CAP classes. Today we have to discuss chapter number 2 of ABFM, that is planning part 2. So in this session we will start with the management by objectives, that is MBO. What is that and all related theory regarding that? Let's start our discussion. So the phrase that is management by objective. So basically who has coined this term? Was coined by Peter F. Drucker and first appeared in his book The Practice of Management, which was published in 1954. Clear? So this term basically was coined by Peter F. Drucker and first appeared in his book, that is The Practice of Management. Clear? Basically, which was published in the year 1954. So the management by objectives, basically it is the term given to the process that it is used for the goal planning and the establishment of clear parameters for those goals. Clear? So what is that? Basically, it is the term given to the process that is used for the goal planning and the establishment of the clear parameters for those goals. The MBO technique in its most fundamental form refers to a procedure that involves a management. Clear? Basically, what it refers? Basically, it refers to the procedure basically that involves the management and the employees working together. Clear? Management object, that is both employees plus management working together to jointly establish, record, and then monitor the goals for a particular period of time. Clear? To jointly establish, record, and then monitor the goals for a particular period of time. Although it is a theoretical framework basically for the management, it has been recently fashionable due to the necessity for management consultants to base their work on the need to manage a business and the goals of that business. The goals of MBO basically are adopted to match the requirements of the today's organization who are expanding their workspace to accommodate their expanding workforces. Expanding workforces basically means that more employees they are hiring. Clear? To completion their work. Clear? That is management by objective. This is the basic definition. So just you have to remember that basically it is the refers to a procedure that involves the management and the employees working together basically to jointly establish, record, and then monitor the goals basically for a particular period of time. So what is the process of that? First of all, establish goals and desired outcomes for each subordinate in a conference between the management and the concerned subordinate. Clear? That is basically establishment of the goals, or we can say that giving the targets. Second one, set the performance standards. Clear? Whatever your target, whatever your achievement. Third one, assess the performance achieved against goals set for the employee through frequent performance review meetings between the manager and the subordinate. They're basically through frequent performance review meetings, basically between the manager and the subordinate. Fourth one. Okay, third one, that is basically review meet. Identify the reasons basically for the shortfall and give a feedback basically for the improvement. Okay, so basically if they are not able to achieve their target, so basically they will check basically where they will lacking and how they will improve. Clear? Feedback it is given regarding that. Next one, that is establish new goals and new strategies basically for the coming year. Clear? Establish new goals and new strategies basically for the upcoming year. This is the overall MBO process. Clear? First of all, basically we have to establish the goals and the targets. We can say that. Second one, that is basically we will check that how much basically that this month is the superior level, this one it is basic level. Clear? How much they are able to achieve and what are the reasons. Clear? Next one, basically we have to review review, that is basically how much you are achieving along with the target. Clear? Fourth one, basically we have to check that what are the reasons behind that for not able to achieve that much. Clear? For next one, that is establish new goals and new strategies basically for the coming years. So key concepts of the management by objectives. So planning, it is a central idea. Clear? Planning basically it is a central idea behind the management by objectives, and it implies that an organization and the people who make up that organization are not just responding to incidents and issues, rather, they are being proactive and taking preventive measures. Okay. So, planning basically it is a central idea behind the management by objectives, and it implies that an organization and the people who make up that organization basically are not just responding to the incidents and the issues, rather, they are being proactive and are taking preventive measures. Clear? Rather, they are being proactive and are taking preventive measures. Further, that is, employees are allowed to define measurable personal goals in accordance with the corporate goal to fulfill the criteria of management by objectives. Clear? So, basically, employees are allowed to define the measurable personal goals in accordance with the corporate goal to fulfill the criteria of the management by objectives. Clear? So, these are the key concepts. Clear? Basically, their organization, basically, that the people who make up that organization are not just responding to the incidents and issues, but along with that, they are proactive and taking the preventive measures. That this incident basically will not happen in the future also. So now let's discuss with that with the help of one example. So the housing division of an infrastructure company might assign the civil engineering subdivision headed by a chief engineer with the target of completing the infrastructure of a house project within the next 12 months, or we can say that within the next 1 year. The individual goals in this case must align with the organizational goal of accomplishing the subdivision target and the need to be coordinated to work with the overall organizational goals, which are managed and supervised by the process called the management by objectives. Clear? So here what is that? That is basically to complete the infrastructure of a housing project within the next 12 months. Clear? This is the target. The individual goal basically in this case basically must align with the organizational goal of completing the subdivision's target and needed to be coordinated basically to work with the overall organizational goals, which are managed and supervised by the process called the management by objectives. So an individual personal goal, it is just a piece of a puzzle that needs to be fitted. Clear? An individual personal goal, basically it is a piece of a puzzle that needs to be fitted basically with the other pieces of the puzzle to make it a complete puzzle, which is the organization goal. Managers need to sit down to write down their goals periodically. Clear? So manager need to sit down to write down their periodical goals and should continue to monitor the goals closely to track the process. Clear? Further, that is manager basically need to sit down to write their goals periodically and should continue to monitor the goals closely basically to track the process. This is also important because in modern day organizations, achievement of goals is normally linked with the performance incentives and rewards. Clear? Basically, if you are achieving your targets, or we can say that achieving your goals on the time, clear? So basically, it leads to the incentive also, or basically it leads to the reward to you also. Like basically, all are working in the like all of you are working in the banking sector. Clear? So you will get that. If your bank basically will get the sufficient profit, clear, as per the desired level, so they will give you benefit like to their stakeholder in the form of the dividend, and to their employees like in the public sector banks they will give you the performance linked incentive, that is PLI. So all are depends upon your performance. Clear? So what is the performance of that organization? All these things basically depends upon that. So please tell fast up to this much point if anyone has any doubt, any query up to this much point. Hope it is clear to all of you whatever we have covered till now. So now next one, that is basically management by objective in practice. So the 5 steps that make up the management by objective technique are as follows. First one, the first thing basically to do is either establish or alter the organizational goals basically for the whole company. So the first thing, what is the first thing? The first thing to do is either establish or alter the organizational goals, clear, or alter the organizational goals basically for the whole company. The company's mission and vision should serve as the basis for development this comprehensive overview. Clear, the company's mission and vision should serve as the basis for developing this comprehensive overview. Second one. The second step basically is to communicate to the employees the goals and priorities of the organization. Clear? So what is the second step? The second step basically is to communicate to the employees the goals and priorities of the organization. In 1981, George T. Doran used the acronym SMART to express this concept. What is the full form of the SMART? We have also covered that is specific, measurable, acceptable, realistic, and time bound. Clear? So kindly remember that SMART, that is specific, measurable, achievable, acceptable, realistic, and time bound. Now move to the next one. So the third step basically is to encourage the participation from the staff members in the process of setting up of the individual goals. Clear? So the third step here, that is to encourage the participation basically from the staff members in the process of setting the individual goals. After sharing the goals of the organization basically with the employees, clear, after sharing the goals of the organization basically with the employees, basically from the top to down, the employees should be encouraged to help them set their own goals to achieve the larger organizational goals. Clear? So the employees should be considered to help them set their own goals basically to achieve the larger organization goals. So further, that is, this will help ensure that the goals of the organization are to be met. Because of this, the employees have greater empowerment, which increases their level of motivation. Clear? Because of this, basically, the employees have greater empowerment, basically, which increases their level of motivation. Fourth one, the monitoring of the process made by the staff members. Clear? The monitoring of the process basically made by the staff members is the focus of the fourth step. We have to determine here, clear, basically we have to determine here how well we have met the managers and employees needs by measuring the performance of both the groups, which is one of the most important parts and a key component of management by objectives. Okay. Fourth one, that is the monitoring of the process made by the staff members is the focus of the fourth step. So here what we have to do, basically we have to determine how well we have met the managers and the employees needs by measuring the performance of both the groups. Clear? By measuring the performance of both the groups, which is one of the most important parts and a key component of management by objectives. Fifth one, the fifth step basically is to evaluate and then reward the process. Clear? That is now the work it is to be done. Also now basically we have to do, that is reward given. Clear? The performance, the person who performed well, basically we have to give the reward. Clear? The fifth step basically is to evaluate and then reward the process that employees have made. So this step basically is based on the honest feedback given by each worker regarding what was accomplished and what was not accomplished. Clear? So this step basically it is based on the honest feedback, clear, given by each worker regarding what they have completed and what was not accomplished. Clear? Regarding basically what was accomplished and what was not accomplished. Clear? So this is regarding the management by objectives in practice. Now, next, basically what we have to cover, that is what are the limitations, what are the advantages of the management by objectives. First one. So the management by objectives approach frequently disregards the culture of the organization as it exists today, as well as its working conditions. Clear? So the management by objective approach basically frequently disregards the culture of the organization as it exists today, as well as its working condition. So now what they are trying to say, that is basically goals and targets basically receive a greater amount of attention. Okay? Here that is goals and targets basically receive a greater amount of attention. When managers further, that is, forget about participation, employees' willingness to contribute, and the values of the management by objectives basically for the management's professional growth, they put constant pressure basically on workers to achieve their objectives. Okay. So here basically goals and targets basically receive a greater amount of attention. When managers basically forget about participation, employees' willingness to contribute, and the value of MBOs basically for management professionals' growth, they put constant pressure basically on workers basically to achieve their objectives. Clear? They will not, they can say that basically managers forget basically about the participation, but they will constant pressure on the workers basically to achieve their objectives. So as a potential driver of the success, clear, basically if everyone want that organization basically will grow, so everyone has to do put the efforts. Clear? So as a potential driver of the success, managers basically will frequently place a greater emphasis on the goal setting than they will on issues pertaining to the operations. Clear? So as a potential driver of the success, managers basically will frequently place a greater emphasis basically on the goal setting than they will on the issues pertaining to the operation. So these are some of the limitations. So now next one, that is what are the advantages? First one, that is it provides a means for determining basically one's goals and plannings to achieve those goals. Clear? So basically it provides a means basically for determining one's goals and planning to achieve these goals. Clear? Or to achieve those goals. So if you do not have a clear idea of what you want to accomplish, you will not be able to get there. Clear? That is basically if you are not able to get what you want to achieve, clear, or what are your objectives or targets, so then it will not be able to get there. Planning enables one. Second one, that is basically planning enables one to behave in a proactive manner and to approach the accomplishment of goals in a disciplined manner. Clear? Planning basically enables one to behave in a proactive manner and further basically we can say that and to approach the accomplishment of goals basically in a disciplined manner. Third one, that is it also gives you the ability to plan for unforeseen circumstances and limitations that could make planning more difficult. So the reason why goals are measurable is that they can be evaluated and modified basically in an easy manner. Fourth one, the plans of management by objectives also enables a preparation of contingency plan, clear contingency, that is emergency plans and strategies basically for overcoming the roadblocks which may be obstacles to the plan. Clear? Basically, and strategies basically for overcoming the roadblocks basically which may be obstacles to the plan. Clear? Which may be obstacles to the plan. So these are some of the advantages of the management by objectives. Clear? Earlier there are limitations, now we have advantages. Now next one, that is disadvantages. That is a process of setting the goals for each and every, that is employee, can be time consuming, which means that both the managers and the employees have less time to get their actual work done. Like presently, we can say that what is happening in the banking sector, there is like in the morning, there is one meeting, like what you have to cover. After that, after 2 hours, they will again call you how much you have covered. After 1 hour, they will again call you how much you will cover. And after that, they will call you why you don't cover. In the evening, they will again call you, or there is one meeting why you will not able to cover. Clear? So how the employee basically will do or achieve their target? Clear? Basically when they have to see 7 to 8 calls in the meanwhile. Clear? While their work. Clear? So basically we are giving more focus basically on the instructions rather than following the work. Clear? Rather than giving them the time, basically we are stressing more to them. Okay. Second one, the MBU program basically requires elaborative written goals, careful communication of the goals, and detailed performance appraisals, all of which contribute to an increase in the amount of paperwork an organization generates. Third one, to achieve success, it is necessary for all the employees to work together. Clear? That is basically for the overall organizational goals. Basically, it is necessary for all the employees basically to work together. Fourth one, goals can become out of date and put a damper on employees' ability to take initiative and be creative. Clear? Out of date and put a damper basically on employees' ability basically to take initiative and to be creative. So these are some of the disadvantages. Clear? So we have already covered limitations, advantages, disadvantages. Now next one, that is plan components. So for an organization basically to achieve the goals, planning it is to be essential. The key components of the planning includes, clear? So what are the key components basically of the planning, which includes first one, objectives, that is goals, policies, overviews, procedures, directions, rules, programs, methods, budgets, funding, sorry, time schedule, core values, mission, vision, SWOT analysis, and management. Clear? These are all the components of the planning. Clear? These are all the components of the planning to be here. So here, first of all, what we have to cover, that is environmental analysis. Clear? Very, very important. That is environmental analysis. What are the advantages and what are the steps under that? So environmental analysis, what is that? Environmental analysis basically refers to the process of examining all of the factors. Clear? Basically, environmental analysis basically refers to the process of examining all of the factors, basically both internal and external, that have an impact on the performance of the organization. Clear? Basically, both internal and external, that have an impact on the performance of the organization. So this can be done both systematically and qualitatively. Clear? So basically, this can be done both systematically and qualitatively. The opportunity and the threats that are external to the organization. Clear? The opportunity and the threats basically that are external to the organization are portrayed by the external components, whereas the strength and the vulnerability of the business entities are shown by the internal components. Clear? So the opportunity and the threats that are external to the organization are portrayed by the external components, whereas the strength and the vulnerability of the business entity are shown by the internal. Clear? So external, that is opportunity and threats that are external, are portrayed by the external components. Basically, strength and vulnerability of the business entity are shown by the internal components. The information gleaned from conducting an environmental analysis is what strategic planners use when trying to make predictions. Clear? Basically, it is what strategic planners basically use when trying to make predictions basically about the future trends. So the information further, that is the information basically can also be utilized to conduct an operational environment analysis. Clear? So the information basically can also be used to conduct an operational environmental analysis and to establish the organizational goals. The results of the environmental analysis, further, that is the results of the environmental analysis can be used to evaluate the state of the organization. Clear? So the results of the environmental analysis can be used to evaluate the state of the organization at the present time, as well as to make the projections about the future. Clear? So the results of the environmental analysis can be used basically to evaluate the state of the organization at the present time. Clear? Very, very important. Clear? So basically, why environmental analysis basically used to evaluate the state of the organization basically at the present time, as well as to make the projections basically about the future. And it examines basically both the factor, that is internal and external. Now, what are the advantages of the environmental analysis? Basically contributes to the accomplishment of the goals, identifies and analyzes the potential dangers, helps understand the developments in the commercial environment, creates awareness of impending dangers of every prospective opportunity. Clear? Creates awareness of impending the dangers of every prospective opportunity, makes prediction basically about the future. Sixth one, that is helps recognition of potential dangers and the potential benefits. Clear? Help recognition basically of the potential dangers and the potential benefits. All these are things basically comes under the advantages of the environmental analysis. First one, I will again, contributes to the accomplishment of the goal. Second one, that is identifies and analyzes the potential dangers. Third one, that is helps understand the developments in the commercial environment. Fourth one, that is that creates awareness of impending dangers of every prospective opportunity. Fifth one, that is makes prediction about the future. Sixth one, that is helps recognition of potential dangers and the potential benefits. Clear? Helps recognition of the potential dangers and the potential benefits. Now, what are the steps? So environmental analysis, basically what are the steps included under that? First one, that is identifying. Second one, that is the scanning. Third one, that is the analyzing. Fourth one, that is the forecasting. Clear? So these are the steps basically included under the environmental analysis: identifying, scanning, analysis, and forecasting. Clear? So these are the four steps. Sometimes basically they will ask. Clear? First of all, basically we have to identify that, and after that basically we have to scan that. Then next, that is scanning, that is third one, that is analyze. Clear? We have to analyze over that. Then forecast. Clear? What will happen or what we have to do. So these are the four steps under the environmental analysis. Okay, so we have covered in this session, that is first of all management by objectives. What are their limitations? After that, advantages. Then next one, that is disadvantages. After that, plan components. Under that, we have discussed in detail regarding the environmental analysis. Clear? So in the next session, what we have to do PESTEL analysis, political factors, economic factors, socio-culture factors, technological factors, all these factors along with the internal environmental analysis. Clear? We have to be covered in the next session. Clear? The next session, basically, we will cover all these things, and I will share some of the MCQs basically in the group regarding that, so that you can go through all these things. After that, we will start with the next topic. Clear? Hope all of you are able to understand what we have covered in this session. So thanks to all of you for joining this discussion.